abandoned hospital, rumors whispered of a nurse who still roamed the halls long after her death. Legend had it that she was a kind soul in life, but in death, her spirit twisted into something malevolent. Those unfortunate enough to venture into the hospital at night reported hearing her soft footsteps echoing through the empty corridors, accompanied by the sound of distant weeping. Some claimed to have seen her ghostly figure standing at the end of their beds, her eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. Many who encountered her never left the hospital again, their fates forever entwined with the tragic spirit that haunted its halls. As the night deepened and the darkness thickened, a lone security guard patrolled the desolate hospital, his footsteps echoing ominously against the cold linoleum floors. Every creak of a floorboard sent shivers down his spine, and every shadow seemed to come alive with sinister intent. Suddenly, he heard a faint sound, a soft whimper emanating from one of the patient rooms. Ignoring the voice in his head urging him to flee, he cautiously approached the source of the noise. The room was dimly lit by a flickering overhead light, casting eerie shadows on the walls. With trembling hands, he pushed open the door, revealing a scene straight out of a nightmare. A figure stood in the corner. Its back turned to him, shoulders shaking with silent sobs. Frozen in fear, the guard watched as the figure slowly turned around, revealing the pale, gaunt face of a woman with empty, soulless eyes. Before he could react, the apparition glided towards him, her ghostly form passing right through his body. The guard stumbled backward, his heart pounding in his chest as he realized he was not alone in the hospital. With a sense of dread creeping over him, he knew that he was now trapped in a nightmare from which there was no escape. Just as the guard thought he couldn't bear the terror any longer, the apparition stopped, its ghostly form shimmering in the dim light. Instead of lunging at him with malice, the spirit reached out a translucent hand, its touch sending a chill down his spine. But instead of fear, he felt a wave of sadness wash over him. In those empty eyes, he saw not malevolence, but an endless longing and sorrow. In that moment of unexpected connection, the guard realized that this spirit was not here to harm him, but to seek solace in the presence of the living. Perhaps she was trapped in this world, unable to move on until her restless spirit found peace, with a newfound sense of compassion. The guard reached out his hand, offering comfort to the tormented soul before him. And as their hands touched, a faint glimmer of light filled the room, dispelling the darkness that had gripped the hospital for so long. But just as hope began to flicker in the guard's heart, a bone-chilling scream pierced the air, echoing through the halls of the hospital. The apparition recoiled, its form fading into the shadows once more. The guard was left alone in the darkness, haunted by the knowledge that the true horror of the hospital was not the ghosts that lurked within its walls, but the secrets that remained hidden, waiting to be uncovered. And as he stood there, paralyzed by fear and uncertainty, he knew that the nightmare was far from over. As the guard stood there, grappling with the terror of his situation, he felt a cold hand grip his heart. Suddenly, a gust of wind extinguished the flickering light, plunging him into total darkness. In the blackness, he heard a sinister whisper, chilling him to the core. "You cannot escape," it hissed, echoing through the empty corridors. With a sinking feeling of dread, the guard realized that he was trapped in the hospital, destined to wander its haunted halls for eternity. The spirits of the past, including the tormented nurse, would forever torment him, their anguished cries echoing in his ears until madness consumed him completely. And as the darkness closed in around him, swallowing him whole, the guard knew death in the twisted, haunted depths of the hospital.